So this video, instead of it being, you know what? No, I'll do the spark cards anyways. But one thing I did want to reflect on and discuss in detail is my perspective on something that's always on my mind in some regard, to some capacity. And that's the idea of death. It seems to me that death is this ever-pervading force that's in my life, and I think all life. I think in some aspects, life is a two-sided coin, and death is essential for life. Although it's a bit of a paradox of some sorts. Life is beautiful, life is colorful, it's flamboyant, it's rambunctious, it's enamoring, ineffable, it's joyous, it's lively. It's enthralling, but death is cold, it's painful, it's dark, it's lonely. It's stalking, unknown. All these things, these two concepts, they are antithetical to each other, but together they produce this harmony. Together they produce this force that propels us forward, and us, not just humans, but animal life, plant life, all aspects of reality, from the micro on a cellular level. You could say that the whole purpose, the whole agenda of a cell, a microorganism, is to perpetuate life, to replicate its DNA, its mitochondria, and make sure to some degree that it persists and goes on. So they may not be conscious as we are conscious. They may not know life to the level of awareness that we have, but they do strive for continuation, for preservation. And ultimately that persistence creates a confluence across multiple layers of existence. Just as they want to replicate their mitochondria and make sure their cellular wall stays intact and wards off any outside external forces, bacteria, viruses. They make sure that the replication process, whether that's mitosis or meiosis, stays congruent and efficient to some degree. They make sure their energetic pathways using ATP and different biochemicals stays efficacious. all these tasks, all these attributes, these characteristics are all for the preservation and eventual replication of said cell. Now, all those things can be replicated, rather can be extrapolated on a higher level. So just as the cell wants to stay alive and perpetuate its genes, so does the organ system. The human body wants to do the same. So does the community. So does the ecosystem. So does the nation states. And this may sound far out, but I would extrapolate that to the planets as well, and the celestial bodies. I think this constant tug of war between life and death, existence, non-existence, is what creates this perpetual motion machine and sustains it over the long term. I say all that to lay out what I view as the optimal framework to look at life and death, which is that the equilibrium of the two is essential. And although opposites, they're not diametrically opposed. That being said, death is quite tricky in the human world, in the human mind, at least my mind per se, because it seems to be, it's almost a joke, right? It's like we're these weak, not feeble-minded, but from a purely physical, biological perspective, we're not the fastest, we're not the strongest, we're not relatively robust and resilient to the environment, and we don't adapt as quickly as some other animals on the planet. And we have a relatively short lifespan. But yet in our minds, we can comprehend and contemplate concepts of infinity and 1,000 years and 10,000 years and what it would be like to explore the universe, the multiverse. What would it be like to live 1,000 lifetimes? It's like we're gods imprisoned in a decaying orifice. We can contemplate infinity, but yet we're destined to live a short life and die. And that's where I struggle. That's where I struggle to reconcile death. Because I sit and realize that I'm completely enamored by life. I love all of it. I love the ups, the downs, the good days, the bad days. The mornings where you wake up and you have a sense of purpose, you know who you are, you have goals and tasks, and you accomplish them. You go to the gym, you're eating right, you're healthy, everything is in this harmonious synchronicity. And I love the days where you wake up and you don't feel so good, and you don't want to do the things that you should do. And I love the days where you get blindsided by life and you make a mistake and you fall and you have to get back up. I love it all. I love it all so much, so much that the greatest pain, my biggest fear is having to let it all go. And I know it's such a frivolous fear because it's inevitable. It's not my choice. I have to let it go. And I guess that's what makes the pursuit of it, that's what makes it so much sweeter, right? Because if you're eating something and you know you can have it for 100 years or 1,000 years or for infinity, then I guess it loses its importance. You lose that sense of urgency. You lose its value. I guess scarcity is key in innate value. And maybe if we had an infinite lifespan or much longer, maybe 100,000 years, maybe we wouldn't get around to anything until year 50,000, right? Because you have 100,000 years. So maybe the shortness of life is the reason why it's so splendid. But even then, even with the ability to piece together those ideas, those words in my head, it still doesn't make the pain of having to let go of it any better. Quite the contrary, I would say it actually reinforces this weird feedback loop. It's like every 6 months or so, I go through this existential angst where I'm laying in bed and on a cellular level, I realize that I'm going to die one day. And there's a level of panic. Not panic in the sense of I'm afraid how I die, or not even so much I'm afraid to die, but I'm afraid to let go of it, right? It's the greatest love I've ever known, just my relationship with life itself. You know, it's like I'm wrapped in this ominous, all-encompassing thing, cloak that embodies me in my being, right? It's all we've ever known, all I've ever known. And I'll have to let her go one day. And with her goes everything. Friends, family, loved ones, personality, consciousness, ego, all of it. It's all gone. It's not even so much that it's not about how I go. I just hope that there's more, and that the fear is there's not. The fear is there's not, that this is it, you get one shot. And then on the flip side, I'm grateful for the one shot. It's been an amazing fucking ride. And, you know, I'm just grateful to even be given the opportunity to live. Yeah, the chance to fucking play this game. To be who I am. It's a gift, man. It's a beautiful gift. It's a gift that one day I'll have to give back. And I struggle with having to give it back because it's so fucking enamoring. It's ineffable. What a beautiful fucking ride. All of it. Even with all the bad, the evil, the vile, the repugnant, even with it all, just the opportunity to be a part of it, to exist. It's magnificent. And in the grand scope of it all, Earth has been around, if you believe in evolutionary theory and the Big Bang, the Earth has been around for billions of years. The universe will go on for billions and trillions of years, and we're but this fragment, this not even half a second in the grand scheme of everything. Oh. It's amazing. And the thing that perpetuates me, that moves me forward, is the realization that we do only get one. Hopefully there's more, but we won't know for sure. And I think it's a good thing that we don't know for sure, because if people knew for certain that there was another thing after this, most people would probably just blow their brains out. Or if you knew that you could get another shot, you just reset. So I guess in closing, how I reconcile my trepidation with the concept of death and my mortality is that I just keep pushing. I keep trying to be better. I keep trying to empty the gas tank. I keep iterating and just progressing upwards, forward, right? And I try to perpetuate my genes by creating offspring, and sharing with them my mindset, my framework, how I view the world, how I see things. Although it's not entirely accurate and it is biased and painted in with my past experiences and certain personality attributes, for the most part, I'd like to pass it on. And obviously there'll be different people. I think, our offspring make us comfortable with death because in a certain sense we feel like there's a continuation of us. I guess on a genetic level that's true to some extent, but this specific person, who I am, with my experiences in this time and place, in these moments, will never, ever, 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 ever happen again. And for that, I'm grateful. For that, I hold everything in reverence. But there's a melancholy to it, that's for certain. And it doesn't ever go away. It's always in the back of my head, right? And it's this driving force to remind me to squeeze as much as you can out of life. Go all in, take the risk. It's worth it. And that's the truth. There's a Latin saying, vivere venivissim visus vici, which translates to, through truth, I, while mortal, have conquered the universe. And truth is nothing but clarity. Truth doesn't necessarily mean, in my perspective, right or wrong on certain contentious ideas, whether it's government, politics, family, truth is just authentic clarity. You see things for what they are, without judgment. And through that, you can conquer the universe. Through that, through truth, through clarity, seeing who you are, where you're going, where you've been, through that lens, you can conquer the universe by way of living fully, living truly to yourself, to your friends, to your family. It's not perfect. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be a fucking journey, but through truth, you can conquer the universe by making your life optimal. By being truthful to who you are, where you are right now in life, you can then make strides to make it better. And through that truth, through that process of making it better, you can take care of yourself, and then that'll trickle to your friends and family, and then hopefully your community. And that sense of responsibility and purpose, that's enough to subdue, or at least hold off, the existential angst, the fact that one day you will die. That truth, that clarity of mind is essential. And through that, you can conquer your universe, your world. So, that's my guiding force. That's what sustains me. One of many, but that's what sustains me. But I'm fucking thankful for it all. What a ride.